All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. We really need to address a super common frustration. For, well, a very long time, traditional psychology essentially insisted that the key to changing how you feel was just changing how you think. But, anyone who's actually battled severe anxiety or trauma, they know that's just not the whole story, right? Changing your thoughts just isn't always enough to change how you literally physically feel in your body. So, today, we're going to explore what modern research is actually revealing about why that happens, and more importantly, how we can actually fix it.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start deep in your biology to understand what's really happening beneath all those thoughts. Then we'll look at how the natural world handles stress, and we'll wrap up with a highly actionable exercise you can use literally today. It's a super clear path from understanding the problem to physically releasing it. Section 1. Beyond your thinking brain. Let's look at the actual biological flaw in just focusing purely on our thoughts. You see, modern research into trauma and anxiety reveals this completely fascinating hierarchy in our biology. Basically, the older, more instinctual part of your brain, it actually has superiority over your thinking cortex. Yeah, your nervous system is the real boss here. It runs the whole show. If your nervous system is sounding the alarm, you cannot simply think your way out of those heavy emotions. Actually, scratch that. It's more like you physically can't. You have to calm the nervous system first, and only then can you actually think clearly. Moving on to Section 2, two nervous system states. Let's dig into the biological mechanics of how our body automatically responds to the environment around us. So, when we feel unsafe, our body automatically activates to keep us alive. This is the sympathetic nervous system. It's an automatic, lightning-fast physiological reaction, the classic fight, flight, or freeze response. Your heart races, adrenaline is pumping, and your body is instantly ready to either battle a threat or just run for your life. It's purely designed for survival. But thankfully, your brilliant biology doesn't just leave you hanging there. Let's all actually take a collective, literal deep breath right now. Ready? Inhale and exhale. Okay, that feeling you just triggered, that's the parasympathetic nervous system. I always want you to think of para as in parachute. This response slows your heart rate right down, lowers your blood pressure, turns digestion back on, and basically triggers your body's deep healing state. It completely restores peace. Now notice the stark contrast between these two states. A healthy nervous system acts kind of like a muscle, right? It easily alternates back and forth, spending most of its time in that calm, resting state. But unresolved trauma, or even just chronic stress, essentially takes your sympathetic thermostat and turns it up permanently. You literally get stuck on high alert. Everything feels like a danger, your system becomes incredibly hypersensitive, and because you're constantly burning fuel, well, it inevitably leads to total exhaustion and periodic crashing.
Section 3. The polar bear cycle. To really understand how to fix this, we've got to look at how emotion processing naturally happens in the wild.
So the crucial point here is a really famous analogy from Peter Levine, the creator of somatic experiencing therapy. Imagine a polar bear resting completely calmly in the wild. Suddenly, researchers chase it down with a helicopter and shoot it with a tranquilizer dart. That is a massive trauma, right? The bear goes straight into fight, flight, freeze. But after the researchers leave and the bear wakes up, it does something truly fascinating. It violently shakes its entire body. By shaking, the bear is physically burning off all that excess adrenaline that surged during the threat, completely finishing the stress cycle. It just gets up, walks off to hunt, and has absolutely zero residual trauma. None. Section 4. Why humans trap emotions. If the polar bear can easily just shake off a massive trauma, why on earth do we hold onto it for years? Well, the evolutionary flaw in humans is actually our brilliant thinking brain. Our massive cortex gets right in the way of our natural biology. Think about it. When we experience a near miss or a deeply stressful event, our body naturally wants to shake or cry or physically release those stress chemicals. But what does our thinking brain do? It says, hey, act normal. Don't cry. This is super embarrassing. So by avoiding those raw emotions and forcing ourselves to look perfectly composed, we literally interrupt the physical release. We trap those stress chemicals and hormones right there in our muscle tension.
This exact concept is brilliantly illustrated by a story from Nicholas Seibin, an acupuncturist. He shared this experience of treating a highly successful but really withdrawn artist. This man came to him feeling scattered, super shy, and just totally lacking enthusiasm for life. Well, during his physical treatments on the acupuncture table, the man suddenly began crying, just releasing this unexplainable grief and shame. And by allowing that physical release to happen without his thinking brain trying to stop it, the man completely transformed over the next 3 months. His posture changed, he radiated vitality, and he finally returned to actually feeling real joy.
All right, Section 5, Body-Based Healing Modalities. Let's look at the actual clinical and real-world evidence for using the physical body to release these trapped feelings.
So Dr. James Gordon travels the globe helping people overcome severe trauma. After the 2010 Haiti earthquake, he worked with a group of nursing students who had tragically lost 90 of their young peers. Understandably, they were completely frozen in trauma. Gordon got them all up and just had them start shaking. Just shaking. Within minutes, they were weeping. Then he put on some Bob Marley and they actually started dancing. They laughed, they cried, and they finally felt some real relief. Dr. Gordon notes that when you freeze to shut down one painful emotion, your entire emotional life gets restricted. Unfreezing the body literally unlocks your emotional life.
Now, while we can't perfectly map out exactly where specific emotions live in the body, we can say for absolute certainty that physical activity is incredibly powerful at resetting the nervous system. These evidence-based treatments, things like yoga, deep belly breathing, massage, dancing, and just general exercise, they force the body through those natural cycles of activation and relaxation. In fact, the renowned trauma expert Bessel van der Kolk notes that yoga can actually be more effective than most medications for treating PTSD. That's a real game changer.
Which brings us to Section 6, the Shake It Off exercise. Let's see how this all builds into an immediate, totally actionable skill that you can use right now.
This is a direct, practical technique to trigger your parasympathetic response. First, just find a private space and put on your absolute favorite upbeat music. Hey, if you can't think of anything, just put on some Taylor Swift. Stand up nice and tall with your feet shoulder-width apart and really establish a strong, grounded posture. Next, you're going to start the movement incredibly small. Don't overthink this at all. Just start shaking your feet a little bit. Then, let that physical vibration slowly travel up your legs. What you're doing is consciously initiating the exact same physical release that a wild animal uses naturally in the wild. Now, let it take over the whole body. Honestly, I encourage you to just act like a total idiot here. Let your hands go completely floppy, shake your head, move your shoulders, and just dance it out. You want to keep this up for a solid 4 to 5 minutes. By doing this, you are forcefully burning off those trapped stress chemicals and sending a deeply powerful physical message of safety directly to the fear centers of your brain. It's literally telling your body, we are safe now. Finally, as the song winds down, slowly bring your body back to stillness. Conclude the exercise by taking a few very slow, deep belly breaths. This beautifully triggers that parasympathetic parachute we talked about to deploy, bringing you gently back down into a state of total rest, digest, and profound healing. You've officially completed the natural stress cycle. The ultimate goal here is to build a highly resilient, healthy nervous system through what experts like to call relaxed vigilance, which basically means training your body to activate when needed, but always returning to a state of calm. You really can train your nervous system to let go. So as you step away from this explainer and back into the hustle of your daily routine, I want to leave you with this final thought. When the pressure mounts today, how will you shake off your stress?